Hi, and welcome to From Pain to Purpose interview series. Today, I'm super excited to have Julie Lacte with us. Julie is a theta healer, mindset coach, and the co-author of the Amazon best-selling book, Wild Women Rising. How exciting is that? So I'm just going to give the floor to you, Julie. Thank you so much for being here. Why don't you just take a couple of moments to introduce yourself more properly, whatever you want to share about yourself, everything is welcome.
Okay, Maria, thank you so much for having me, although I'd much rather be there with you than on a screen. But
One day.
so I'm a theta healer. If you don't know what that is, I'm not surprised, most people don't. So theta healing is done literally when your brain is in a state of theta, which is when you're at your most relaxed in a really deep meditation. So it means that every part of you is open to receiving healing, to just being open to the universe and whatever it is that it can send to you. And to get into that theta state, I go through a very beautiful meditation that I take my clients through that allows you to just completely disconnect with the outside world, to disconnect with all the monkey chatter that goes on in your head, with your unconscious mind. That's why it's called theta healing. And then as a practitioner, I'm able to scan someone's body, and then almost like looking through a video screen or a directory, I can see the beliefs and fears and negative programs that you're holding in your body that may be causing you to have a fear of something, that may be causing your body to have pain, that may be causing you to not get what you want out of life. And then I'm able to find why the beliefs are serving you. Because even though it might feel awful at the time, there's always a reason why your body or your unconscious mind thinks it's being served. I'm able to show you how something is serving you and then release it and change it so you're free to move on.
Wow.
So if I try and put that extra example that would make sense to someone with pain. So I think I mentioned to you a while ago, I worked with someone who had constant illnesses. And they weren't extreme, they weren't life-threatening, but for example, he would go from a really severe chest infection to a throat infection, and then he would have something else, and he was constantly losing work and losing his jobs. And he said he'd been like it since he was a child. And when I worked with him and went through the beliefs and could see where they were coming from, I could see that in a past life, he'd been a young teenage boy during the time of the Second World War, where if you were really healthy, it meant you got sent off the war to die.
Right.
And that was terrifying, of course. So, the dream was that they would find something wrong with you because then you didn't have to go to war. So he was carrying beliefs that it was safer if he was sick. As long as he was in ill health, he was safe and he was protected and nothing bad could happen to him.
Wow.
So although he wasn't enjoying being sick, it was his comfort blanket. And to his insides, his unconscious mind and his past life memories, that was the perfect solution. Don't get really sick, but if you're constantly sick, you're safe. And when I was able to show him that that time in his life was over, to show him the truth of those beliefs, to show him that it was now safe for him, that it was to his best interest now to be healthy, because that gave him more choice and more freedom. And then it changed, like almost instantly. And I remember checking in with him maybe 6 weeks later and saying, so how are you? I'm fine. Why? Okay. Any health problems? No, I'm fine. Why? I said, well, do you remember when I worked with you and you were always sick? He said, oh, yes. Oh, yes, I haven't been sick at all.
Wow.
Because he'd learned that there was no reason to. It wasn't in any way helping. So I'm very
aware. And he even forgot. Basically he kind of, his whole identity changed and he was not even aware of the pain that he had in the past. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, because what we do in Theta when we change the beliefs is that it's literally been shown that it changed the pathways in your brain. The way the neurons react, you literally just stop those beliefs, so you forget about them, so they're not there anymore. And I appreciate if you're in pain or you're in difficulties, you're not thinking, I'm not choosing this. I suffered from depression and anxiety for a really, really long time. And I can remember someone saying to me, but you're choosing this. and thinking, yeah, right, I'm choosing this because I'm loving every moment of being depressed and having panic attacks 10 times a day. This is all I've ever dreamed about. And I really wanted to kind of punch that person at the
Of course.
time.
Yeah.
But when I look back on it, I think, well, yeah, it absolutely was serving me because, you know, I left home when I was 15. I was very independent. I had to grow up very early. I straight away became a nanny, so I was responsible for other people's lives and taking care of children. And I think I was just mentally exhausted. And if you think as an adult, how many decisions you have to make every day, how many responsibilities you take on, how many obligations you think you have. But when you're in that space of, I'm so depressed, I can't do anything, and I'm so scared, I can't get out of bed, and I ended up homeless.
Wow.
So when you're in that space, no one expects anything of you. So suddenly I was in this little bubble where my basic needs were met. I was homeless, but I was in a shelter. I was given food once a day. So that was it. I literally didn't have to do anything. There were no demands on me. No one expected anything of me. No one cared if I got dressed. No one cared if I showered 10 times a day, if I didn't for a month. And I think it was just that allowed me to just have that space to just shut down and rest. And it was from that place that I started to learn about things like the law of attraction, how you create your reality. And it was from that space of just realizing that I'm doing all this.
Wow.
I can keep blaming everyone else, but this is actually all me, and it's really boring, and I've got to change it. And that
Wow,
was really why
what a story. What a
Yeah.
story. Thank you so much for sharing it. So you were, if you don't mind sharing a little bit more, how you actually got into from, being homeless and living in a shelter and being like okay because your basic needs were met, and essentially subconsciously this is what you wanted, right? To be left alone, to not deal with any adult responsibilities, and the universe delivered exactly what you wanted. So how did you, from being there, and essentially subconsciously being like okay with that, how did you start pulling yourself out of the space and into the space of abundance and, becoming a coach, becoming like this beautiful healer? How did that happen?
A lot of it was seeing the people around me and seeing how they were in their life and just thinking, I'm not going to end up like that. Before I had been in that position, I had been volunteering for various charities, and I went back to volunteering, and then I was very lucky because I had plenty of time on my hands.
Yes.
So I was able to volunteer sort of 4 or 5 days a week, and I was volunteering with people living with HIV. A lot of our service users were from different countries. A lot of them didn't have access to the support that I was receiving. And I remember the more time I spent with those people, literally sort of looking at myself and going, you know what? These people have got real problems. And you're essentially just being a fucking crybaby. Like, you're just miserable. Like, there's actually nothing wrong with you. And seeing those people kind of made me look at myself. And then seeing how amazing some of those people could be that were still so determined to be full of life. But it just really made me start to look at myself. And then I started listening to things like Abraham Hicks and learning how your thoughts create your reality and the way you think. And then I could literally hear myself in my head saying things like, oh, I'm just unlucky. It's not my fault. Everything just goes wrong for me. It's like I'm cursed. And when I started hearing that, I thought, yeah, I thought those thoughts, and look where I left up. Look where I ended up. So, it doesn't take a genius to join those dots. The more miserable my thoughts were, the more miserable my life ended up. And that was when I thought, well, I don't believe in any of this stuff. I was an atheist. I didn't believe in anything. I certainly didn't believe in magic and miracles and energy healing. That was all from weird people. But I got upset. I thought, what? I've been thinking and doing the same thing for 30 years, and this is where it's got me. So I've literally got nothing to lose. So I'm just going to try it. And the next time I found myself thinking, oh, I can't do that, it was just like, well, why can't I? Who told me that? When did I decide I can't do that?
I love
and
it.
that very quickly became a habit. And then, as you know, the universe always sends you what you're ready for when you need it. And yes, I quite quickly got out of the hostel. And after I'd been housed, I was literally sitting at my laptop one day on Facebook, how we all spend hours and hours. And this event popped up and it said, this may be of interest to you. And it was a Theta Healing meditation and sound bath. And it was a 10-minute walk from my house. And I thought, oh, I'll go and see what this is then. And there was an hour-long sound bath, which you can just imagine. And then the lady giving the healing did the Theta meditation. And at this point, I'm still sitting there thinking, no, she's full of crap. I don't believe any of this. And then she said there were people in this room who in past lives had been killed, tortured, beheaded, and shot. And as she said that, I literally started getting shaky, even now, because I'm getting goosebumps.
Wow.
Because as she was saying it, it was like I was seeing those things happening in my lives. And suddenly I knew that everything she was saying was true and that I'd experienced every one of those things.
Even though you were like a complete atheist and you did not believe any of the past life and you thought she was full of crap, like nothing. Wow. Still, you're like your body, your whole system somehow resonated with it.
Your body knows. You can't hide things from your body. That's why we do muscle testing. It's actually a really good tool to teach people. So the reason we muscle test in Theta, it's actually a kinesiology tool, but we always think we know what's wrong with us, and we never know what's wrong with us. Because, you know, with the best intention, our human brains are about this size, and we have such limited information to draw on. And we have all these ideas and other people's beliefs that we rarely know what it is that's troubling us. But muscle testing, it connects to your soul and your unconscious mind. So it literally tests what your truths are and what your truths aren't. So should I show you what that is, and then people can...
Yes, please do. Yeah, if you can just explain a little bit more, like how would a Theta healing session, you know, how it might look like, maybe a little bit. I don't know if it's appropriate.
Session, the first thing I would do would be, you always ask a client what they want to look at, so you have a starting point. It's very, really connected, but it's a good starting point. And then I will take you through the Theta Healing meditation, and I think your people now have the link to download that so they can try it themselves. And then the first thing I would do is send you unconditional love and instant healing. This is the only thing I can do without permission because it's pure love. And then I'll ask for permission to connect to your energy. We all have free will. I'm able to do anything for you that you're not ready for or willing for me to do. And then when I have your permission to scan your body, I will do a scan, and it's almost like in the airport. Like I can literally scan you from top to bottom, see what beliefs, fears, patterns, programs you're holding, where you're holding them, if it's being held in your body, in your energy, if it comes from this lifetime, from a past lifetime, from your ancestors. I can see that, and then I can start guiding you, and I can ask you questions. So, for example, you know, I might, if you tell me that you have problems with trusting men, just pulling something out of thin air, and I ask you, what was your relationship, what was your parents' relationship like? How did you see your mother behave around your father? You know, what did you see? And then I can say, you know, well, what was your earliest memory of this happening? And then you don't want to lead a client, but you get them into a space where they're able to see. And then you can say, so what, you know, so you say, for example, your dad got cross if ever your mum was sitting with her feet up. And then you say, so what did this teach you about taking time for yourself? You know, you might have seen this and understood that it wasn't allowed for a woman to put her feet up and do nothing, or she would be in trouble.
Right.
And then you can show the client, you see, this isn't the truth, this has happened to your mum. Can we release this for you? Can we release the belief? And can we show you and teach you that it is safe for you to rest and take care of yourself, and that you know you are safe and worthy? And you literally download that belief into your unconscious mind, and then you no longer have that feeling of feeling guilty for putting your feet up and taking a rest.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So that's how it works traditionally in a session.
Right. And so where does the muscle testing come in, and how do you do it?
So with the muscle testing, so for women, like if I say to that lady, so test that you have the belief it's unsafe for me to rest. And they might muscle test as no. And then after I've done the healing, we would test it again, and then they will get a yes, and they can see that that belief has shifted and changed.
Okay, I see. Interesting. And so this
So
type of
that's quite
healing can be done like online, right? It doesn't have to be done in person. I know that you have a Facebook group where you do group sessions even without knowing people.
yes.
So it can be done like remotely.
Can be done anywhere. I've always done my sessions online, nothing to do with the
Uh,
virus or the pandemic. I've just always worked online. I like to travel, so it suits me. It means I can see clients wherever they are, wherever I am. I think a lot of people actually, if I can be with someone in their own homes, they're in their own space and they don't have to move. That helps people feel more relaxed. I had one client who I think I was in one of my group programs for 12 weeks, who was always in bed in her dressing gown when I spoke to her, because it was early in the morning for her. And I thought, well, if that's how you're comfortable, then that's fine.
Wow.
What I do, I don't even need to see you. So if you want to turn the screen off, that's fine too. I don't have to see you to work with you.
Right.
Everything is energy, so there's no distance, there's no time. So like I said, with the group sessions I do, if you join me for a group session, you'll receive the healing. But if you want to watch that same session in 6 months or 10 years time, you'll still receive the exact same healing.
Even if you're not connecting real time.
There is no real time. This is just a
Exactly.
human
Yeah.
construct.
Yeah. As you say, there is no time or space. Well, this is amazing. I love this. So what do you think, a lot of my followers, my viewers have different types of persistent pain, chronic pain, maybe migraine or back pain or shoulder pain, whatever it is. What is your take on where pain comes from? What causes pain?
So what we believe in Theta is that any physical illness or symptoms you have are a symptom of a belief that you're holding that's showing you that it's ready to be looked at and cleared. So you can work on the belief. And if you clear the belief, you'll clear the pain. And also, depending on where you have the pain, their neck and their shoulders, this quite often tends to be ancestral beliefs. So it might be that you're the first one in your family, for example, to be an entrepreneur, and all your ancestors are like, you can't do that, that's not safe. Women can't do that. If a woman has her own career, she'll never find a husband and she'll be ostracized. And so your ancestors, in their urge and their desperate need to protect you, will constantly feed that into you, so you'll feel that as pain, so that will slow you down and stop doing that.
Interesting.
If you have pain in your lower back, for example, that's generally a case of feeling unsupported. And that may be feeling unsupported by your family. It may be a feeling of being unsupported by your friends, by your employer, by the universe, by God. If you have pains in your legs and your feet, that's quite often generally a fear of moving forward. Like you're scared of what,
makes sense.
Moving forward is a scary thing. We're often programmed that change is scary and terrifying. We're programmed to fear change.
Yeah.
So it's quite literally a case of, that fear stops you moving forward, because that's keeping you safe in your comfort zone. We all like to stay there.
Of course, yeah, that makes sense. And what comes to mind is that a lot of times our conscious mind, right? Consciously, you're like, I'm not afraid. I am like totally moving forward. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm this and that. But then you like find yourself in the cycle of self-sabotaging and stuff like this. It's all because of all those deeply rooted beliefs, right? That need to be cleared, and this is what you can do through Theta Healing.
So we clear beliefs. We talk about all 4 levels. So you clear from a core level, which are beliefs you've taken on in this lifetime, which you may have learned from your parents, from other carers, from teachers, from the media, from watching television, all the beliefs you may have taken on from there. We talk about a history level, which is what you've learned from past lives. We talk about a soul level, which are the lessons you've chosen to learn in this lifetime that you might have been carrying with you for several lifetimes, and your ancestral level, which are the beliefs that you've taken on through your ancestors. And they've now shown that we carry fears, patterns, and beliefs up to 27 generations back, which is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. So like you said, you might not be scared to go out at night in the dark because you live in a safe area, but your great-great-great-grandmother might have been scared to go out the house in case she got eaten by a saber-toothed tiger.
Right,
So
right.
that fear is, you know, that's a very real fear factor. So you're still carrying that on a history level, or from past lives, or from ancestral times, and we've all read about them. If you think about the witch trials, where women were tortured and beheaded and burnt, and their families were stripped away from them. So a lot of us hold on to their fears, that it's not safe to be a healer, it's not safe to do these things because there'll be repercussions. You know, as women, many of us, like quite often when people get sick a lot, quite often, especially as women, we have been taught for centuries that it's our job to take care of everyone else. It's our job to put everyone else first, and to even think about yourself is selfish, it's unnatural. I can remember my sister telling me what a selfish, hideous person I was at 15 because I bought myself a box of chocolates. And apparently I didn't have the right to do that. You're not supposed to buy yourself gifts. Who decided that was a thing? You know, so we have all these gifts that quite often the only time a woman would get to rest was when she was sick.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of women will work and work and work until they get sick. It's almost like their body going, now will you listen? And also not just with women, quite often with men, because they, you know, also they're programmed to take care of everyone and do the work. So quite often, you know, you'll have men who are workaholics who never stop working until they drop or get sick.
Yes,
because that's the only time they've learned that they can take time off without looking unmanly, without looking like they're not providing for their families.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, of course, of course.
Astounding what our unconscious can take on and what beliefs we're carrying.
That's really fascinating. I often say that pain, you know, physical pain or emotional pain, like any persistent pain that we have is like kind of our, you know, wake up call or some kind of message, right? Like, will we hear this message? Will we answer this wake up call? Or will we be just like taking, nothing wrong, I'm not against medication, but will we just like drown the symptoms and push through it and push through it and push through it? Or will we take the time and say, wait a second, you know, now is the time to really figure it out and maybe do some healing on a deeper level, which now I understand can be done with Theta Healing. What a beautiful way of doing healing. So I have one little question before we wrap up, and I want everybody to know about your beautiful gifts that you offer in general and this week in particular. So one question I have is, do you need to know what beliefs you are releasing for the healing to be effective? Or is it like you don't even need to be conscious of your beliefs to be effectively healed?
No, because most people aren't conscious of their own beliefs. So you just need to be open to the idea that it will work, and you need to give your permission. So I said, as I'm going through a healing, at each point I will ask if I have your permission to release this. And a lot of the time it will sound really ridiculous. So I might say, oh, is it safe for me to release the belief that if you're a healer that you'll be killed? And you'll be like, well, yes, I want to release that. And I might say, is it safe for you to release the belief that your family will be killed? Well, and then suddenly you'll get a no. And it's like, okay, well, why doesn't that feel? And you'll get a real sense of, no, I can't do that. And then it's just a case of seeing why that's still scary, what's underneath there, what fears you need to clear to make that feel safe. And then we just go in deeper and keep digging at the bottom belief until that feels safe for you.
Very interesting.
It's never a case of forcing anyone to release anything they're not ready for, because also you know, you may have chosen this lifetime to come and work on a particular thing. That's your choice and your sole purpose. So if I come along and release that, I'm actually doing you a disservice, because this is what you've chosen to do. Yes, we all have free will, and I'm unable to do anything that you're not
Of
ready
course,
for.
of course. Yeah. And so, just to summarize, you don't need to have any religious beliefs to
But no,
go through theta
I
healing.
was
Like you said, you
I
were
was a
an atheist.
skeptical atheist when I
Yeah,
first started getting healing. So no.
right. You don't need to believe like in past lives for it to work, even though theta healing works kind of directly with that
No,
concept.
you
But even if
really
you're
just have
skeptical,
to
you
be open to it.
mm-hmm,
As long as you
open
have
to
an
the
open mind.
yeah.
Because I was the most close-minded, skeptical atheist you could ever imagine. To the point that it's only really been the last 6 months where I can say the word God without kind of cringing. You know, when I'm in a session, you'll hear me say, you know, creative, all that is, it has commanded that. And I remember when I first started doing sessions, and as I was making these commands, there'd be this voice in my head going, who is it you think you're talking to now? Like suddenly you think you're talking to God? What's that about? So yeah, having to get past my own lack of belief so I could
Yeah,
heal people was a different
interesting.
thing. But when you've witnessed the things I've witnessed, and when I'm in a session I suddenly know things and I have no idea how I know them, I sort of had to let that go.
Of
But
course.
as you mentioned earlier, with pain being your identity, being an atheist was a huge part of my identity. So it was having to give up a part of myself that had kept me safe. You know, it had kept me from unleashing the healer part of me that made me vulnerable to, you know, all that entails. So, you know, you don't have
Yeah.
to believe in anything, you just need to have an open mind.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all of this amazing information. Sounds like a very powerful and effective tool for so many purposes, and pain, included emotional pain and physical pain. So, Julie, thank you so much for this wealth of information. It's been such a beautiful gift to have you here and to share this knowledge with us. And I hope that our viewers will be open minded enough to try this if they haven't already. And if this wasn't a gift enough, I know you have another free gift for the viewers. So can you explain a little bit about the meditation, the seventh plane meditation, and the sound healing that you
I will.
that you offer?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a beautiful meditation that I use with clients that takes you into the theta brainwave state. So you're completely relaxed and just gives you time to center yourself and to set intentions for your day. And after I created this, a gorgeous friend of mine who's a sound healer very kindly laid Tibetan sound bowls over the top. So it's a really
Beautiful.
beautiful meditation. It's infused with energy healing, so it starts healing you and releasing just general stress and worries and overwhelm that you're ready to release at the end of each day. So I'm giving you a download for that. I think a literal download, not a fake download. There's a link you can go to and
Yes.
download, and you can use that as often as you like.
Wow.
And I would also like to invite anyone that's interested. So I have 2 Facebook communities.
Mm-hmm.
One is a free group. It's open to anyone that's interested. It's available for anyone who may be new to this, who's just interested, who would like to explore the idea of using spiritual tools and mindset tools to help shift their mindset and bring in more positivity. It's very gentle. I don't push you too much. And it's just a community to learn about things in. And then I have a membership community, which is sort of considerably more up-leveled, I guess, for people who are familiar with energy work, who have been working on their mindset and personal growth for a while. And in that group, I do kind of push people and challenge them a bit more, because it's a membership group and that's what people are paying me for. They're paying me for me to go in, smile sweetly and kick them glittery up the butt and get them to move and do things. And we work through different, as the group, I go in, tune in on a regular basis, see what's coming up, and then we work through certain processes to release things. And twice a month, and they always come around so quickly, I do a group session for the full moon and the new moon, where we do some training and I share some new tools. And then I do a very long group healing session and look at whatever's coming up for the whole group and release and clear a group setting.
Okay.
So they're always fun to do. They always go much longer than I intend them to, but I always get great feedback from them, and they're pretty much my favorite thing to do.
Actually, I just want to share that I was part of one of your group healing sessions, and it was absolutely spectacular. And I actually got really amazing results like right after that. So I totally recommend doing this. And so this one is coming up very soon, right? It's this
on Sunday, as you told me kindly. But I know it's ages away. It's not until the 15th.
Yes.
Not realizing that today is the 9th and there's not a long time between the 9th.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So for that, like if somebody wants to experience that healing journey or healing session for the new moon, what does it entail? They have to join your paid membership group, or
yes. So I have yes. So I have an offer just for your lovely members for being here and listening to me this long. So with my membership group, the price actually rises each month as more and more value is added. But the way I work is whenever you join, that's the price you continue to pay for however long you're a member. So this month, the joining fee for the membership group is £45. I'm not sure what that is in dollars and Australian dollars off the top of my head.
Well, we'll figure it out, yeah.
And for that, you get access to the new moon session, the full moon session, and all the tools and training and impromptu healings I do in between. But for your members, I'd like to invite them to join the new moon session for £30, and I will give them the rest of the month in the community at no extra charge.
Oh, wow.
So they also have access to the full moon session as well.
Oh, that's a beautiful offer. Thank you so much. I really hope you guys are going to take advantage of it. As I mentioned, my session was absolutely worth every penny and so much more. So I wholeheartedly recommend trying it out if you haven't tried Theta Healing before. And even if you have, everybody does it differently, I bet. And Julie is just...
Oh, everyone does it so differently, yes.
Yeah, of course. And yours, I just love how beautifully you do it. And you say that you push people, but I never really felt pushed. It feels more like a gentle nudge, in the right direction, but it never feels like you get off your butt and do something. It's like, you can do it. It's more of a cheerleading.
Because it's the Theta loving version of me that takes over, not my ego.
Well, we are grateful for that.
So am I.
Yeah. Certainly. Is there anything else you would like to... by the way, guys, I'm going to put all this information. I know we went through all the offers that Julie has quite fast. So I'm going to put it right below this video with links and, pricing details and everything. So you will be able to access it all in one place. No worries. You don't have to stop the video and try to figure it out. And Julie, do you have anything else that you want to add to wrap up this beautiful conversation?
No, I think that's all. You're welcome to get in touch and ask any questions. There are no silly questions. If you ask me how I do it, that I can't really answer, and it's not because I'm holding back from you, it's because I don't really know. I'll be completely honest. So we all have different senses. My sense that I'm strongest is, and I always forget the name of it, but when I'm in Theta, I just know things. So I quite often do sessions and someone say, that's amazing, how did you know that? And I'm thinking, I don't know.
I have no idea. Wow.
I've got no idea. So I can't really explain how I know that, because it's just, and all I know is that the more time I spend doing it, the more I see things when I'm not in Theta. And then I have to stop myself from saying things to people in the street.
Right.
Like I was sat next to two ladies in a coffee shop the other day talking. And one of them was saying how she felt really rough for a few days, and she wondered if she had the virus. And I thought, do I tell her that she's pregnant, or maybe wait for her to find that out?
Yeah, maybe if you don't know her, may not be a good idea.
I
Wow.
don't mean to freak you out, but your baby just told me that you're pregnant.
Wow.
And you don't, yeah, so
Wow, how cool. And
things like
how
that I keep.
exciting. How exciting. It's like basically you can just kind of connect with
Yeah,
a global database of information, universal
yeah,
information. That is absolutely fascinating and powerful and really promising for for deep healing of any kind of pain, whether it's emotional or physical. Or sometimes I don't even really see any distinction because they're so interweaved, you know.
yeah,
Emotional
absolutely.
pain brings physical pain definitely brings out emotional. So it's sometimes so hard to separate, and it may not even be necessary.
Yes. Well, let's hope that we can get a lot of people past that and release some of those beliefs and start clearing the need for that pain. Because as much as your unconscious might think it's helping, we know that if you're in pain, it really doesn't feel like it's helping.
Right, of course, yeah. Well, Julie, thank you so much. It's such an honor that we have had you here, and I hope that our viewers will take advantage of your beautiful offers. And I hope to be able to
I
collaborate
hope
with
so
you
too.
in the future. And
Yes.
definitely, I will continue being part of your wonderful group, and I recommend it.
Amazing. Yes, we're loving having you. And I am checking out flights to Mexico for next winter.
Yay! So maybe a retreat with Theta Healing.
Oh,
Guys,
that'll be
stay
exciting.
tuned. Stay tuned.
I can and have done sessions from a hammock, so that's fine.
Yeah, so that there you go. There you go. So thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure, and I look forward to working with you more. Hopefully on site in Mexico in a beautiful retreat.
Yes. And before then, on a screen coming to you soon.
Yes, that's right.